Is it possible to have a series of love poems without at least a cameo from John Donne? Maybe, but we will not do such a thing. Welcome to Strip Coverlet, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Fort, and we are here for another poetry discussion, which will appear, of course, in two separate playlists here on the channel. It will appear in the poetry discussion playlist, now cruising towards 650 videos, and in the love series, a 14 poem in 14-day journey through love poems to discover, to discuss different types of love in celebration of Valentine's Day. The poem in question today is The Sun Rising by John Donne. And normally what I do is I have the poetry reading and then the discussion. I want to open this video with a little bit of the discussion portion. John Donne is a metaphysical poet, and I want to talk about what that means from poetryfoundation.org. This way we can have the sort of outline of what we're looking at and then get the poem and then talk about some of the things that are worth talking about as it is in regards to love in this poem. What are the metaphysical poets? A group of 17th century poets whose work are marked by philosophical exploration, colloquial diction, ingenious conceits, irony, and metrically flexible lines. So this is notable because before the metaphysical poets, these things did not meet in poetry. So the metrically flexible lines, that was not what they considered poetry, not really. The irony would be there, but it wouldn't be necessarily there. It wouldn't have to be there. The conceits sometimes were there, sometimes were not. The colloquial diction was mostly not part of poetry. Poetry was more buttoned up. And philosophical exploration was something maybe not introduced by the metaphysical poets, but it was something that was very core to them. What is the ethos? What is the philosophy beneath the words themselves? Topics of interest often included love, religion, and morality, which the metaphysical poets considered through unusual comparisons. Unusual comparisons goes hand in hand with ingenious conceits, frequently employing unexpected similes and metaphors in displays of wit. So unlike the modern poetry that we have, the metaphysical poets still bought into the poetry as flexing, right? It is peacocking. It is the idea that what I am going to present to you is this poem. Some of that, especially in modern, postmodern poetry, is gone. Modern, postmodern poetry is supposed to feel a lot more like this, colloquial diction. It is supposed to feel as if the poem has itself just kind of happened. The inclusion of contemporary scientific advancements were also typical. John Donne is the foremost figure, along with George Herbert, Andrew Marvell, Abraham Cowley, Richard Crashaw, and Henry Vaughan. For more on metaphysical poetry, see Stephen Burt's poem guide on John Donne's The Sun Rising, which we have today. So, just to go a little bit further into this, ingenious conceits, something that is kind of difficult to, if you don't know what a conceit is, it makes no sense. If you do know what a conceit is, you only kind of know what a conceit is. So, from the same source, poetryfoundation.org, conceit is from the Latin term for concept. A poetic conceit is an often unconventional, logically complex, or surprising metaphor whose delights are more intellectual than sensual. This means you're going into the mind, not onto the body. Petrarchan, after the Italian poet Petrarch, conceits figure heavily in sonnets and contrast more than conventional sensual imagery to describe the experience of love. In Shakespeare's sonnet, "How like a winter hath my absence been," for example, "What freezings have I felt? What dark days seen? laments the lover through his preparation, though his preparation takes place in fertile days of summer and fall. Less conventional, more esoteric associations characterize the metaphysical conceit. John Donne and other so called metaphysical poets often used conceits to fuse the sensory with the abstract, trading on the element of surprise and unlikeliness to hold the reader's attention. In A Valediction, Forbidden Morning, for instance, John Donne envisions two entwined lovers as the points of a compass. And then we have another suggestion for that essay on the sun rising. So, the sun rising, a great example of both metaphysical poetry as well as what a conceit is. The Sun Rising by John Donne itself reads as such: Busy old fool, unruly sun, why dost thou thus through windows and through curtains call on us? Must to thy motions lovers' seasons run? Saucy pedantic wretch, go chide late schoolboys and sour prentices. Go tell court huntsmen that the king will ride. Call country ants to harvest offices. Love, all alike, no season knows nor clime, nor hours, days, months, which are the rags of time. Thy beams so revered and strong, why shouldst thou think I would eclipse a cloud them with a wink? But that I would not lose her sight so long. If her eyes have not blinded thine, look, and tomorrow late tell me, whether both the Indias of spice and mine be where thou left'st them, or lie here with me. Ask for those kings whom thou saw'st yesterday, and thou shalt hear all here in one bed lay. She's all states and all princes, I nothing else is. Princes do but play us compared to this. All honors mimic, and wealth alchemy. Thou, son, art half as happy as we, in that the world's contracted thus. Thine age asks ease, and since thy duties be to warm the world that's done in warming us, shine here to us, and thou art everywhere. This bed thy center is, these walls thy sphere. So we've had motherly love, we've had dangerous love yesterday, we've had devotional love, but today we're talking about the love of contentment. It is perhaps the goal of all love to reach the love of contentment. The love of contentment saying, I don't need anything else. Our poet asks the universe itself, why the hurry? Where are we going? What are we doing? I don't need anything else. I don't need to be anywhere else. I don't care about you, sunrise. You can go ahead and rise. You can go ahead and go about your business. I don't care. I am here with what matters to me, with what I need, with what I want. This is the universe to me, my lover and I. Our speaker looks to the center of the solar system itself, the sun, and says, hey, my world does not revolve around you. My world is right here. It is important, of course, to recognize the sun is the working world, right? You're talking about people that did not have electricity. So if you were going to get work done, you wanted to get it done during the day. Some professions you had to get it done during the day. The speaker here is saying, I don't need productivity. I have my baby. Also, possibly worth noting that this is England, so light and heat are limited. You're not going to get very much of the sun. The speaker is saying, I don't need your warmth. I have my baby. This is the love of contentment. This is the love of saying, I don't need or want progress. I don't need or want commerce. I don't need or want the working world. What I need and want is right here. That is all I have for this poetry discussion. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting a like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other literature lovers. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, literature is the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week. There's poetry every Monday, and I hope to have you back for the next one.